OMG, I am so dumb. Hi, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. Today, I am going to share an incredibly embarrassing story with you while I put on my makeup of the day. I'm going to put on my base makeup and share an incredibly embarrassing story with you while I do that. So let's go ahead and get into it. You can't really see it here because I'm short, but I'm wearing a really cute little Valentine sweater to go with the theme of today's palette. Today I'm going to be playing with the Flirty Talk palette. I'm going to go ahead and get started by putting on my base and just, I'm not going to focus a whole lot on the makeup. I'm just going to put on my makeup while I talk to you. If you're familiar with my channel and you've seen one of my previous incredibly embarrassing Try to Get Ready With Me's where I shared with you how I mortified myself in my neighborhood. And I was basically like, I completely humiliated myself in front of the whole neighborhood. Now I've got to go. Like, I've got to move. I can't live here no more. Yeah, if you missed that embarrassing story, I'll leave that video down below in the description box if I haven't already privated it. But yeah, I'm going to share a story a little bit along those lines today. So I kind of want to do a little bit more of like a natural makeup look. So I'm going to start off with I'm going to use my Cherry Real Techniques foundation brush with my Maybelline Illuminance foundation. Anyhow, so I was driving by this ranch house. It's like a farm ranch house. Okay. On the way home from the grocery store. And as one does, I was kind of looking on the side of the road, just glancing kind of like that as I'm driving down the road, looking at some of the animals that were on this ranch. Because, at different times of the day, the farmers set out different flocks of their farm animals, okay? And so sometimes they have chickens out, and they do have like 3 separate fenced areas where they can separate a different, a variety of their herds and have them all out at one time without them interfering with each other. And so in this first section, as I'm driving from the grocery store home, in this first section that I pass, there's the chickens with like a rooster or 2. And then as you drive further up the road, the next section of their property has the fenced in area for all their billy goats. And they've got a bunch of goats. And then you keep on driving and there's a section, a huge area of their farmland where the cows are. And so they've got like all 3 of the herds out at one time, each in their own little sectioned off zone. And as I'm passing by, and keep in mind, there's like merging traffic here where 2 lanes are coming down into one because the road narrows as it gets further and further out into the country. And then I'm like paying attention to that, but also like, I'm highly attracted to animals, just like I like to look at them and stuff. And so as I'm driving by and I'm merging with traffic, I also see the animals next to me, like on the side of the road, like in their little like, area where they're at in their farmland. Okay. And so I spot out of the corner of my eye what I think is a chicken. Struggling, flapping outside of the fence, like it's possibly trying to get back into the fence. And it's away from the rest of the herd. And I'm just like, oh no, this little chicken is stuck. I need to somehow like let the farm people know so that they can come out and get their chicken, and also so that they can know that they've got like an opening in their fence where this little chicken got out. And so I was actually in a hurry to get home because it was time to go pick up my son, and I wanted to get these groceries dropped off at the house, And so I was thinking to myself, well, on the way back, like I can't come back up here right now. I can't turn around right now to go check on this chicken is what I'm thinking, because I'm like, I've got to get to my kid. I don't want to be late to pick him up, and yeah, so I think to myself, like, okay, my first instinct, honestly, before I started thinking I don't want to be late, because that was my second more rational thought. My first instinct was to bust a U-turn and go back and check on the chicken. And I've been trying to stop reacting like that when I see an animal that I feel like is in need, and just like call animal control instead of putting myself in the line of danger, because I'm not Like, I'm just not well trained in rescuing animals, and like I don't focus on my own safety when I'm doing it too, you know. And so it's like at that point I need to learn the hierarchy of importance of which life matters. Not that the animal's life doesn't matter, but like my life matters. I have children, I have a husband, I have a life to live. I don't need to be risking my life for that of an animal that might be in danger. And so, well, like if they're being, okay, I'm just saying, okay, so anyways, I thought to myself, okay, gotta go get my kid picked up first, and then, which takes like a couple of hours because also he's got like practice and stuff. And so if I could, I was like thinking to myself, if I can remember to come back like when the car isn't being used for all of our errands that we're trying to run or whatever, that we're trying to take care of, then hopefully, I was thinking to myself, hopefully I can remember to come back and check on this chicken, you know, and try to get it free. I don't even have like anything with me to keep it from pecking at me. I don't know anything about chickens. I don't know if they're dangerous. I know they've got like sharp claws and beaks, but I don't know, like, would they try to use it to attack me? I really don't know. You know, I don't know a lot about chickens. Honestly, I don't. And so anyways, okay, so I go off back on and I go on about my day. And of course, me being the forgetful person that I am, as soon as I get home, I forgot about the chicken. You know, my mind was like focused on everything that I needed to take care of, including getting the groceries out of the car and feeding my dogs and then going to pick up my child. And, you know, plus I'm also grappling with like health issues that actually impede my day-to-day life activities. And so it was like, I just had a lot on my mind at that moment and I forgot about the chicken. So fast forward to the next day when I'm heading somewhere up the road and I pass by this farm and don't think anything of it, you know, because I mean, I pass by this road often. And so it's not like I would immediately be like, oh yeah, I'm back here. Let me remember this chicken, like, you know, or whatever. And so anyhow, I didn't remember about the chicken. On my way back home that next day, I passed by that same area. And from that vantage point, out of the corner of my eye, I see the same thing catch my eye again. I'm like, oh my God, that chicken is still there. Only this time, I don't see it like fluttering about, like flapping its wings and stuff, like struggling to get loose from the fence, essentially. And I thought to myself, oh my God, the chicken doesn't look like it's alive anymore. I think he might have froze to death last night. I don't know if chickens get cold at night. I really don't know. Like, I don't know if they have to be inside. I just don't know. And so I'm like feeling pretty bad about myself for having forgotten the chicken. This is gonna be my first time to use warm teddy. I'm gonna use this one today. Let's just see what it looks like. I did recently share this new little mini with you, as well as a bunch of my other new lipsticks in my lipstick collection and organization video. So if you missed that video, check down in the description box. I'll have that there for you. Underneath this video, there's a little link where you can click more, and that's where you can find this video that I'm talking to you about. Anyway, so hold on. I'm trying not to talk and move my lips. Hold on. Okay. There's warm teddy. I feel like that's pretty for a nude. I feel like that's a pretty shade for a nude. And I love that it is matte. So there's warm teddy on me with no lip liner. Anyways, I just wanted to go ahead and add that because my lips were looking like not the best with foundation on now, and wanted to give my concealer and foundation a moment to set itself before I start to go in with powder and powder products. So anyhow, so I'm thinking to myself, so back to the story about the chicken. So I'm thinking to myself, oh no, Michelle, you should have gone back to check on that chicken. Like, how dare I think that my life and my schedule was more important than this chicken that was struggling to get out of the fence and to get back to its flock, essentially, or whatever. And, you know, to not be like on the street, because it was like the fence was really close to like a country road or whatever, a country highway. And so I was just feeling really bad that I didn't go back and try to help this chicken. And so then I'm like, oh, I need to stop by and tell these people that they've got a dead chicken stuck in their fence and that they've got probably an opening that they're going to want to try to fix. And so I was like, I'm going to need to do this when I have a minute though, because like right now I can't. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to have to stop back by and see if I can get in touch with these farm people and let them know. Oops, I over shaded my nose. I feel like, I'm not sure. Maybe I did. Okay. So, I mean, I think it looks okay. So then I pull over to this, I pulled over to this chicken farm, right? And I'm trying to get these people's attention and let them know that, I don't want to put that there, hold on. I'm distracted and I'm not paying attention. Let me find the right brushes and stuff, hold on. It is so hard to put on makeup and like focus on what you're doing and put makeup on while you're talking. Like, it's so hard. Okay, so then I pulled over and I'm like honking at these people. Now keep in mind, they live off of a busy road. So they probably hear horns and car sounds all the time. You know what I mean? And I mean, they probably have learned to live with it. I have a piece of fleck glitter in my eye. I don't know how. Okay. They've probably come to ignore that sound, you know, and just got used to the sounds that cars make because as they're passing by their property. And so I'm out there hopping about, waving my arms in the air, honking my horn, jumping about, trying to get these people's attention without looking too ridiculous, because I'm sure they have cameras set up, you know, and I'm pretty certain that they've got cameras on their property and they can see what I'm doing, you know? And so I'm like, at what point are these people going to come out and see what it is that I need, right? Well, they didn't. That's right, they didn't. And I was just kind of like, dude, how am I going to get these people's attention? So I give up, okay? I can't get these people to come out and like talk to me or whatever. And so I give up and I start to drive off. And, you know, again, they live on a busy road, like right off of a busy road. And so there were cars coming by. And so I couldn't like just exit when I was ready to leave their property, which ended up being a good thing because at that point I see that they have their phone number out front with a sign that says like text for eggs or whatever, you know, our farm fresh eggs for sale, text us here. So I texted them and I'm like, hey, I was like, hi, just wanted to let you know that I think you have a dead chicken stuck in your fence. And I thought I'd let you know so that you can try to secure your fence if, you know, if you can figure out where it got out. And so the person responds, oh, okay, thank you. And then I started to feel bad. And I'm just like, I just randomly texted these people talking about, hey, you've got this dead animal. And I didn't even like prepare them or anything, you know, I didn't even say hello or nothing. And so I responded, I texted right back. And I was like, sorry to be the bearer of bad news. They respond, it's okay, thank you. Again, you know, because at first they responded, thank you. And I was just like, that's when I felt kind of bad. And I was like, sorry to be the bearer of bad news. And they were like, it's okay. And so I was like, all right, okay, so now I'm using my double-sided Real Techniques cherry brush, like from the cherry collection, for some blush. And so I was like, I texted back and I was like, sorry to be the bearer of bad news. And they were like, that's okay, thank you again. And I was like, okay. So go on about my business. Don't really think too much more about it other than I feel bad that I let the chicken die. Should have gone back and valued that chicken's life enough to warn them that the chicken was struggling, you know, so that they would have had a chance to save the chicken's life. And I was feeling pretty guilty about it, honestly. And so I was like trying to convince myself, you know, how we eat chickens. I eat chicken often and we eat their eggs and like chickens get slaughtered all the time. And, you know, even though the thought of that makes me feel really sad too, like I eat chicken. So like, how can I be feeling bad? And I was like, it's okay. You know, it's just a chicken. And I'm trying to like talk myself out of feeling really, really terrible. But to no avail. I felt pretty bad. I felt pretty bad to the point that when I was falling asleep that night, all I could think about was how this poor chicken was struggling for its life. And I drove by and just left it there to die. and that I'm not a good enough person to try to save the chicken, but that I'm only remotely good to where I let them know that now that the chicken's dead, where it's at so that they can find it. And I was just like, how backwards is that? And I was really kind of like mentally beating myself up over this. And so I don't know if you can tell where this is going or not, but by this point, I am like, okay, so this is now 2 days later, okay? The first day that I saw the chicken, the second day that I texted the people, that night I can't sleep. The following day, I wake up to a text from the chicken person saying, never could find that chicken. Never did find the dead chicken. I thought to myself, what? They didn't find the dead chicken? I was like, well, I mean, it stayed there overnight. Maybe a coyote dragged it away to eat it or something. You know what I mean? Like the circle of life, etc., etc. And I was like, how odd. I was like, could something have taken it away to try to eat it? I was like, I really don't know. I was like, I'm sorry. I didn't get a response back. Is this the brush I want to use? No, I'm going to use this one for my eye base. I didn't get a response back. Okay, at this point. I didn't hear back from the person after I was like, huh, how odd. Could something have dragged it away to try to eat it? No response. And so then I was like, I can come by tomorrow morning and show you where I saw it if you'd like. I didn't get a response again. So when I get out of the house that following morning, it's like later in the morning, I was like on my way to go run some errands and I had things to do. As a matter of fact, I was on my way to Nordstrom to go pick up my new MAC palette. And so anyway, I was like, oh, before I get completely distracted with my day and forget about this chicken owner, let me go ahead and stop by and see if I can find the dead chicken. So I get started looking for this chicken. I parked my car and I'm on the side of the road looking for this dead chicken. Okay. Like seriously looking for it. And I can't find it. I'm running up and down the side of the road, like hoping that I'm not going to get hit by a vehicle. I'm going to go ahead and line my lips with MAC Cool Spice and see how it pairs with this warm teddy. I actually think the color is just way too similar. And so if you like your lip liner to match your shade completely instead of having a little bit of a darker edge, I felt like that would be a nice combination to pair together. But I'm going to add a little bit of depth. Wait, is this the right one that I wanted? No, I'm going to use my new chestnut and just add a little bit of depth. So I'm almost done telling you this story. And then I'm going to get on to the eye look and a second embarrassing story that is more pertaining to flirting. Okay, so I'm running up and down this road trying to find this dead chicken and I can't find it. So I never did see the chicken either. And I was like, well, this is where it was, you know? So I took a picture of like the whole like section of ranch that I was standing in front of. And then I took a close up of where the chicken was. And when I looked at the photograph before I was texting it to the chicken person, I noticed how this like piece of broken off tree trunk or like some driftwood or something like that was laying parallel to the ground, but kind of poking up at one end. And I was like, that kind of looks like the body of a chicken. It's shaped like a chicken. I was like, oh my gosh. Are you kidding me, Michelle? I was like, tell me no. Suddenly it dawned on me that it was a really good possibility that I didn't actually see a dead chicken and that I just saw this piece of driftwood that kind of could have looked like the back end of a chicken. And the front part was like behind the actual upright tree. And then I was like, wait, but I saw the chicken like moving and fluttering the first time when I drove by. So how could I have thought that this piece of wood was an alive chicken? And so I stepped back even further and looked, because, you know, keep in mind, I'm seeing this thing even further back originally as I'm driving by in my car. So I'm even further back from where I'm standing on the edge of the road next to, you know, the piece of property. And so I stepped back further to where I'm like actually in the country road, made sure that there was no oncoming traffic from it. And I looked and I was like, oh my gosh. At that point, I could see how there was like leaves and like plants that had leaves and stuff on it. And I could see, like, I kind of shook it and I saw how the leaves like fluffed, the leaves just like fluttered kind of. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was really windy that day and there's not a lot of wind right now. And it, like, all of a sudden, all the pieces just like blip, 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 fell into place. And I was like, these leaves coupled with the shape of the driftwood and me driving by quickly and me automatically just being like, oh my gosh, an animal in need. I thought it was a chicken and really it was just wood with leaves around it. I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, I came to show you where I thought I saw the chicken at. And you're not going to believe this, but I thought this piece of driftwood and leaves around it that was rustling in the wind as I was driving by very quickly, out of the corner of my eye when I saw it, I thought it was a chicken. And then the following day when I saw it not moving anymore because it was no longer windy, I thought the chicken had died. And so when I realized all of this, I texted the chicken person. I was like, oh my God. I literally did. I was like, OMG, I am so dumb. Somehow I thought this piece of tree bark, this broken down tree limb and leaves all around it was a chicken struggling in the fence as I drove by quickly that day and I saw the leaves rustling in the wind. I was like, I really apologize for bothering you. I was just trying to be helpful. I really don't know what to say. I didn't hear back from this person. But I did notice that they had taken down their sign that said farm fresh eggs, text here. They were like, I'm not putting my phone number up for people to be jacking with me anymore, you know? And I just thought to myself, oh my gosh, this person probably thinks that I was like pulling their leg and pulling a prank on them just to like mess with them or something. And that is not the case at all. I seriously was like keeping myself up at night thinking that I let this poor chicken die. So when I didn't hear anything back after a few minutes, I thought to myself, I'm going to block this number and hope that they forget about this. So I blocked the chicken farmer text phone. I blocked the chicken farmer's text number from my phone, and I had to admit to my husband that yet again, life was trying desperately to teach me to mind my own business, something that I'm not the best at. And yeah, to say that I was mortified is an understatement. Oh my gosh.